Men can generally be quite closed off when it comes to managing their emotions, which can obviously have implications on their mental health. If somebody wanted to start opening up, what would you recommend for how they could go about it?
So are you thinking of opening up to a family member or friend, or more to looking for sort of a trained professional?
Either. Probably a good place to start, because everyone's going to do it slightly differently, aren't they?
Yeah. I think there are lots of organisations out there now. I think we're talking about it a lot more, but I think there's also a lot more people talking about it. So we need those support places there to be able to support people. I think if you're in a place where you're ready now to open up, then I think people are more open to hearing and listening and understanding than perhaps I think we think they are. I think sometimes we close off because we think people don't want to hear it, or they're not going to understand it. And I think from my experience and from people that I have spoken to, people have quite often been surprised that when they have opened up to people, how supportive, understanding people have been. So I think it's just about being open and honest. And I think sometimes it's very difficult, isn't it, to and this may be something that you've experienced. Sometimes it's very difficult to put into words what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. And so I know this came up in a different conversation, when you don't understand what you're feeling, and it's then very difficult to be able to explain that to somebody else, let alone get somebody else to understand it. But I think the willingness from people who want to support and who want to be able to understand and be able to support people is probably there more than people think that it is. If does that make sense? Is that
I think
is that in line with the question that you were asking?
Yeah, things have definitely changed since. I remember the first time I went to the doctor about it, I got told that I should try losing a bit of weight, and that would probably help. And I think we've come a long way since then. That's quite a long time ago now, and there are more people talking about it, so I think it is easier for people to start. It still can be quite difficult for people to broach that conversation, but equally, I think what you said about people being more willing to listen now, is a good point. So yes, you did.
It's a big first step, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a big first step. If it's not something that you've opened up about before, it's a big first step to make. And I think there's almost sort of 3 channels of support, isn't there? There's your friends and family members. There's more sort of the different support organisations, foundations like yourselves, charities, Mind, the Samaritans, the more, the bigger organisations. And then you've got that first point of call, like a GP, to go and get that help and advice from. So there's almost 3 different channels there for people to choose from on what type of support people want. I think the stigma around it is starting to change, but that's going to take some time for people to move past that based on past experiences. I think that's difficult, but I think there are channels there for people to choose what type of support that they want, and then make that decision of where it's best for them to take that step into.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a lot easier than it used to be, but equally the most difficult part of it will always be the same, which is admitting that there is an issue, and then to actually doing something. Because talking, like with most things, talking about it is great, but until you actually take some action out of talking about it, things don't generally get any better.
And I think talking is often the first step, but it's that willingness to take the step that comes after that as well.
Yeah, definitely.